My name is John Lemon. My father was Meadowlark Lemon. My father played over 22 years with the Harlem Globetrotters. My father was an American basketball legend. This documentary and story is more about just basketball. It's about his life. It's about his family. He's definitely basketball's first superstar. Hook shots that were made not only from half court, but from the pivot, for what would now be the three-point line, the corner. He could hit them from anywhere.
I get to see him out on the court doing that half hook, the shot.
Yeah, we would be at Madison Square Garden after a game, and Dad was taking us home. We were all going home, and the crowds were thronging. They were just trying to grab at him, calling out his name and wanting his autograph and everything. So we were really used to that, and Dad was very accommodating. I can't believe some of these athletes now who actually charge you.
I don't think there's any comparison with in the late 50s and early 60s and 70s. There was anybody that had the notoriety, the world-renowned fame, the global fame. Global before the term global was it was so popular.
It was. Every time we went to the game, you knew every play, you knew everything that was going to happen. But every time you went, it was like the first time you ever saw the game. And it was just amazing to see the fans. Now, there could have been hatred, racism, anything you wanted. But as long as the Trotters were on the court and Dad was out there, I think everybody just forgot.
He had this largesse about him from the inside out, and it was real, and it was to be respected.
Many other NBA or even ABA players at that time had notoriety and acquired respectfully fame for themselves and their careers, but nobody had that international fame at that time and era as my father.
Meadow was never much of a talker, but he became excited, and that was the only time that you could get him excited, was allow him to talk about basketball. I think he was secure. That was the only time that he felt he was, I don't know whether it was control of the situation. He knew what he could do. He knew that he was on stage, and I'd never seen him become so animated. He truly would just come alive.
His personality was so different at home than it was on the court. He had no sense of humor at home. So we were cracking up around the table, and he didn't think anything was funny about it. And that would floor me.
There was so many levels they should have been in honoring him. And I was glad to see by him being accepted into the Hall of Fame.
We loved our mom, so we knew it was a challenge that we knew how mentally taxing the relationship with my father had been on her, and dealing with the issues and some of the the relationship issues, and my father not having any discretion or any being discreet about anything he was doing. It was that just doesn't sit well with any marriage. So I remember and recall a fight ensuing and them both leaving. Turns out that my father had left and my mother had followed him into New York City, and she followed him there, and she stabbed him.
You were right. I've never spoken about any of it because it was the most embarrassing situation that had ever occurred to me in my life. It did happen. I am sorry that it happened. It changed my life radically. My life is not in the same sense.
So what they did is, to try to appease my father, they dangled this opportunity for my father to enter the Hall of Fame class. We had business models and business plans that we had submitted for Meadowlark, that we as a family, as a Lemon family, had submitted for our ownership participation. And some of this ownership participation involved around us doing some Meadowlark being an ambassador, a permanent ambassador of the Globetrotters, and what's called Camp Meadowlark. After we're no longer part of this investment opportunity, we're no longer a part of anything, you'll all know that what Manny did was sign a contract with FUBU and Damon John, now famous of Shark Tank, and they created a t-shirt and a jersey line with my father's name and number on the jerseys, and sold them globally. Manny did speak at my father's funeral, and it was the most disturbing things that I've ever heard.
Who said some things about my dad that they just weren't even true.
I'm glad my father passed away when he did. And the reason I'm glad he passed away is because this will never allow the Harlem Globetrotters, Manny Jackson, or anyone associated with the Globetrotters to ever take advantage of my father again. He forgave Manny. And that's the heart of, that's the heart of my father.